Hello everyone, today I'm going to talk to you about Hues and Cues, which is the new colourful party game from USAopoly, now the OP. Now, as you can see, there's lots of colour and the board is no different. Hues and Cues was provided to me as a review copy from the OP, but that hasn't changed my thoughts and opinions on it at all. Let's jump in and see how it plays. Well, everyone's going to take 3 matching coloured cones. That's going to be their colour. One of them is going to go on the scoring marker and the other 2 are going to be used when they're guessing. On a player's turn, they're going to draw the top card from the deck. It's going to show them 4 colours. They're going to be potentially quite different colours, but sometimes you get, say, 2 purple-ish style colours and then a couple of different ones. You pick one of those and it's going to have underneath it a grid reference. So maybe it's N15 or maybe it's B20. Now, once you've got that, you can look at the board kind of discreetly so the other players can't see, and then you give a 1-word clue to that colour. Now, for instance, some clues that we've had, when it's green, we've had like lime or grass. When it's chocolate, we've had Cadbury's for those in the UK. Now, not everyone's got that. Some people have thought chocolate, okay, it's brown, but in the UK, Cadbury's is traditionally in purple wrapper. So you give a 1-word clue and everyone tries to guess. Going round the table, they're going to take one of their cones and put it on a grid space. That space is then theirs, their choice. You can't choose what someone else has done. Everyone goes round. Then the active player, and they don't have to give a second clue, gives a second clue, but it can be either 1 or 2 words this time. So, for instance, if it was blue, they might be able to say morning sky to try and give sort of a bit more of a description. So, once they've done that, it then goes anti-clockwise around the circle with everyone allowed to put their second cone down. Again, not in spaces that have already been chosen, but believe me, sometimes some people have guessed in one area of the board and then the second clue drags them to a completely different area of the board. Once that's done, the clue giver, the active player, then reveals the coordinate and puts this sort of frame down. Anyone in that frame or just around it is going to score points. If you're just outside the frame, you score 1 point. If you're just inside, you score 2 points. And if you're perfectly in the middle, bang on the money as such, you get 3 points. The clue giver then scores points for however many people are actually within the grid, that 3 by 3 sort of section. So that's why you might not do a second clue. If you think you're going to get enough points and maybe someone's not got it bang on yet, you can sort of play gamey a little bit and sort of decide not to give a second clue. Realistically, that never seems to happen though. Then the next player around in clockwise fashion becomes the active player. They draw a card, give a clue, and so on. Everyone gets 2 turns being the clue giver, and then the game is over, and whoever scored the most points wins. It's a really simple game that has a big flaw for some people. Do not try and play this game if you are colourblind, because it's not going to work for you. It is a party game about colours. So, just bear that in mind. But moving past that, for everyone else, it's been a lot of fun. You can get some amazing clues and you can get some absolutely abysmal clues that the person thought was brilliant. They might make a sort of a comment that they might give that clue and they're like, this is a brilliant clue. Everyone knows exactly what colour this is. And then you get sort of dots of clues all over the board and they go, but how did you think I meant that colour? And that happens a lot more than you realise. When you're seeing the clue on the card, you're seeing like a blue colour, but you're not necessarily seeing it in relation to all the other blues in that area. So by just saying like sky or something like that, it's not necessarily that helpful, because the blue here doesn't always look like the same blue as on the board. You can put the cards next to each other, they are the same colour, but because of you know, your blue on your card is maybe next to a red and a yellow and a purple, and you're like, okay, it's clearly blue. But you put it next to other blues and it is actually quite a greeny colour almost. And there's a sort of a balance there of you think it's a good clue and it just turns out really not to be. You also get amazing clues where everyone's just piling in on one area, and you know, you put the thing down and it's like massive points for everyone involved. And then you get the tension, or the short-term tension of you put it down and everyone just missed, and everyone's like, it's so close, so close. And you really feel that energy from the party experience. Now, one thing I do think that the experience is missing is a team variant. Now, we actually tried at Christmas playing it in pairs, and it really did quite work. We made it so one player of the team gives the clue so their teammate can still guess. And it meant you could sort of try and tailor your clues to your teammate, but everyone else still got to guess. And importantly, they'd still see where that teammate was guessing to maybe jump in on the sort of the shared logic between the teams. And it still worked. We just did, each team member gave one clue, so each team had given two, and it worked. I don't know quite why something like that wasn't included in the rulebook, but it seemed to work really well. So I would advise you, if you've got Hues and Cues, to give it a go. Production-wise, there's not too much going on. There's the board, the cones, the cards, and the little sort of area. Now, the little area thing is really good for sort of really clearly showing where the points are given. The cones are perfectly good at tracking, although in a game where you're supposed to be telling colours apart, some of the colours or choices are really similar. There's like a pink and a red scoring markers, and they are so similar in the wrong light. It's not greatest, and that is one thing you do maybe need to play in relatively good light. The board is fantastic. It looks amazing. You put it down on the table and everyone is interested straight away just because of the brightness, the vibrantness of the colours in the board. Everyone, as soon as I got the box out, they were, oh, what's that one? Which some party games, you know, you get it out and they're like, okay, we'll play. Whereas this one, the box and then the board drew people in to look. So production-wise, there's not too much, but it is very nice what is there, apart from some of the cone colours. The deck of cards is a decent size. I don't think, you know, you need much bigger, because on each of those there are 4 colours. So, you know, and the active player can choose any of the 4 colours. You know, they're not limited to, right, this round we're doing the top left ones. So realistically, there's never an option where you can be like, oh, unless you've marked the card really obviously and you know it's one of 4 colours. But even then, some of the cards have slightly similar colours, so you could still get it wrong. So I don't think there's any need for more colours or anything like that, more cards, sorry. Really good job there. All in all, we have really enjoyed Hues and Cues as a party game. It hit the table multiple times over the holiday season, and to be honest, when there's going to be gatherings of people, it will probably be on the sort of the top of the pile for not trivia. We want something different, and I think this one is one of those, that category. It's one that it will excite people as soon as it comes to the table. There'll be those moans and groans when people miss. There'll be those whoops and hollers of excitement when people get it bang on the money. And there's the potential for both brilliant and awful clues all in one game, even from one player. You know, their first clue could be awful, their second one could be brilliant, or the other way around. So yeah, we've really enjoyed this one. So make sure that you check it out. Anyway, thanks for watching. There's other news, reviews and such on the channel. Please check that all out. Like, subscribe and all that jazz. Until next time, I'm Oliver East signing out.